Hammerhead, Tulip, Cricket, Disco Ball, and Exotic Bird. These are the masked dancers for Group A of the premiere episode. I'm going to make my guesses right now. Hey everybody, Dan here, and this is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my Masked Dancer wrap-up, the premiere episode. We've built quite the community here on my channel of masked singer enthusiasts that we have been commenting for weeks and weeks about the latest season of The Masked Singer, and several of you have asked, are you going to do Masked Dancer videos as well? And, I honestly wasn't sure. I didn't know if I was going to just review the show for my weekly news and review show, plug, check it out. Or if I was going to do weekly videos. And you know what? Why not? We won't get new Masked Singer episodes until I think March. So why not do the Masked Dancer as well? So we're going to talk about the premiere episode. But before we do that, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do that below. I would love to have you aboard. And also click that little bell next to the subscribe button too, and that way you'll get all my notifications for my Masked Dancer videos, when Masked Singer returns, all of my other stuff as well. I do a lot of movie reviews, TV reviews, that kind of thing. So let's get started here with the Masked Dancer. Before we get into the actual characters from the premiere episode, just a brief rundown of the show. Obviously, if you watch The Masked Singer, you know the concept. But the host for this one is Craig Robinson, replacing, Nick Cannon in that role. And then your panel, of course, Ken Jeong is on. Fox can't do a TV show without Ken Jeong these days. But you've also got very, very famous for her dancing, Paula Abdul, and of course famous for her judging as well with American Idol. Ashley Tisdale, good dancer as well from the High School Musical series. And then, for whatever reason, Brian Austin Green is here as well. And then in the very beginning of the episode, they gave us all of the sort of rundown of the accomplishments. So within this group of 10, we had 5 singers or dancers tonight, but there is 10 total. Within those 10, 38 million albums sold, 20 Emmy wins, 23 World Championship titles, and 4 Olympic gold medals. So definitely more athletes, I think, than we've seen on The Masked Singer, which makes sense because if you're dancing, very athletic and sort of, can move your body in a way that I certainly cannot because you're more limber. I'm not an athletic person. So World Championship titles, of course, could mean sort of anything, but I always think of sports, whether it's, tennis, wrestling, it could be anything really, but I don't know if it was a Super Bowl counted as a world champion. Probably not. I don't know. But anyway, 4 Olympic gold medals as well. I mean, clearly there's a few athletes at least in the mix. But all right, so let's get started here. I guess we'll start with, you know what, let's just go in order of the show. Now, on Masked Singer, I actually cut my my pages in half, because I can put 2 people. I know this is impossible to see, and I have such small handwriting as it is. But so I have the line there. Each side gets 1, but because they're dancing and not singing, we were told we're going to get more clues for these guys than we do on The Masked Singer. So I've given everybody an entire page of notes, and I try to write down as much as I can here. So let's start with the Hammerhead. Right away when this person came out, we noticed his athletic body. I don't know how much of that is done by the attire he's wearing, but I think even still, we've got a pretty athletic person on our hands. All right, so in the clue package, there was a photo shoot kind of montage. I guess they all sort of had photo shoots. I just wrote that down for him because he was the first one. I didn't know what the themes were going to be. We had on a platter, we had a burger. There was some shredded carrots, and then an alphabet soup that said talk in it. Talk soup is what I got from that. He was drinking a cup of Joe, but it actually said Joe on it. Cup of coffee is usually called Joe, but this actually said Joe. There was a big sugar cube that went in it. He said he became famous almost too quickly and felt like his best moments were behind him. So he shifted to who he thought everyone wanted him to be. And now he's decided to change up a little bit and be more himself. So we saw him like painting. There was a clock that was going from 6:01. It was a digital clock, 6:01 to 6:05. And then he said, moving backwards is how I move forward. And he sang the song Everybody Backstreet's Back. And then for this one, because we don't hear their voice like we do on The Masked Singer, Craig allows them one word. And so obviously they want to choose a word that might clue us in a little bit to who they are. So his word was dramatic. And he really like drew it out. All right, so guesses from the panel include Carrot Top, because of the carrots on the plate. Paula Abdul was on the boy band vibe kind of thing. She thought maybe Liam Payne or Niall Horan, or maybe it could be Joe Jonas. She thought, Cup of Joe. It's not a terrible guess. Brian Austin Green was getting a Zac Efron vibe, and his former co-star Ashley Tisdale said, no, that's not Zac Efron. I'm not getting that vibe at all. Nobody said, however, who I thought it was immediately from the talk soup clue. And then he started drinking the cup of Joe afterwards. I'm not quite sure what all of these clues mean, and I don't quite think the voice matches up to who I think this person is. Because I was listening closely. I was like, okay, is this voice gonna tell me who it is? But because of the talk soup clue, and because he's very tall and kind of athletic, I think it's Joel McHale. Joel McHale has been a frequent guest panelist on The Masked Singer. He obviously, worked with Ken on Community, and he is doing Fox's New Year's Eve show. So I don't think the Joe Jonas guess is terrible, actually. But I just think talk soup and then the cup of Joe right afterwards. I know it's Joel, not Joe, but still, I think this is Joel McHale for the Hammerhead. All right, so up next we have the Tulip. All right, right away I felt like, all right, I'm going to be out on whoever this person is, because the first thing we see is an alarm clock that says the words TikTok on it. It's not spelled in the same way that the app is. It's spelled in the way that a clock would spell TikTok, but still, I was like, well, that's a TikTok clue. The clock says 11 o'clock, and there was also an 11 at the top of the cereal. She had like a mini, instead of mini wheats, it was mini seeds because she's the Tulip. But there was an 11 like in the corner, like, 11 vitamins and minerals kind of thing. So 11 obviously is factoring in here. There was a yearbook for Mount Laurel School. She said she was teased all the time growing up. We opened the book and we see, a bunch of harassing sort of messages, but they were all like Tulip based. It was like, you smell like dirt and kind of that kind of stuff. So I don't think that told us anything, but maybe Mount Laurel School does. I don't know. Glee Club and Acrobatics Club were both shown in the yearbook. She said her confidence tumbled. All right, so I was thinking, okay, maybe that's a gymnast. And then there was a bus ticket that said AL to DC. AL, I think, is Atlanta. Or maybe that would be ATL. Alabama, maybe. DC, I think, is pretty obvious. Washington, D.C. And then she clicked her heels 3 times, like Dorothy would in The Wizard of Oz. And then there was a rainbow at the end, and she said, we're all in this together, which, of course, Ashley Tisdale was like, oh, High School Musical. And then the song she did, Fergalicious, with some tap dancing in the middle there. And then also she gave us the TikTok sign at the end. And for her word, triple, which Paula Abdul immediately thought to mean triple threat, which typically is singing, acting, and dancing. Now, Paula Abdul, having her on the panel is great because she actually can tell us, okay, this person seems like a trained dancer, this person, is not, This girl tapped. Obviously, Paula Abdul, famous for her tap dancing back in the day, did it in several of her videos. And she said, okay, like this girl can tap. I didn't think it was all that great compared to tapping I've seen, but Paula was like, no, this girl, is a good tapper. She's obviously trained in tap, if nothing else. So, triple threat, singing, acting, dancing. So she was thinking, oh, and actually she asked a question, which nobody's ever done on The Masked Singer before. But Paula doesn't care. She's Paula. So she asked a question, and that is, do you have a ponytail underneath the mask? Craig was like, all right, well, you may as well answer the question. And it was a yes. So Paula's guess from that was Ariana Grande. Interesting, but I think probably a little too big for the show. Ashley guessed a couple of different TikTokers, but settled on Charlie D'Amelio. I mean, if you gave me $100 million, I don't know who Charlie D'Amelio is. I never would have guessed her. So if it's her, I'm completely out on that. But she said some of the clues matched up, and obviously some of the TikTok clues. Ken thought maybe it was his daughter on Glee, Heather Morris, who he did a couple of episodes on Glee with. And he said that she can tap. So, all right, that could be something. And you could consider her maybe a triple threat because of the singing on Glee. I mean, it's not like she has a recording contract or anything. But, you know, obviously the Glee team had a bunch of chart hits, so I could see it, I guess. Look, I think this is probably somebody, I don't know. I think this is probably a TikToker. So I'm probably not going to know who this is. I think Ariana Grande is too famous. So look, if she knows how to tap, I'll go with Ken. I hate to ever do that, but I'm going to go with Ken. I'm going to guess Heather Morris. But I think that's wrong. I think it's somebody that I don't really know. Because listen, I don't do too much research into these clues. Basically, I might pick one or two things out to look up, but when I do these videos, watch the show and then do the video for you guys immediately. So we get, I think, more out of the comments and the chatter and the interaction than I do from just watching the show. So maybe you guys have a better idea on the Tulip than me. So up next was the Cricket. This is somebody who's very tall. And in the clue package, we saw music notes. He said, oh, dancing? No way. So this is not a trained dancer, not a person that is used to dancing in front of people. There was a whole Vegas vibe and slot machines and stuff. And the jackpot on the one slot machine was $90,210,000. So the first part of that, 90210. All right, well, you've got Brian Austin Green on the panel, so it could be a clue to that. Or it could be just somebody that, you know, grew up in Beverly Hills or lives in Beverly Hills or whatever. Or it could be Weezer, you know. I mean, they have that song, Beverly Hills. 90210, not everything is maybe what it appears. But he said he was unlucky in love. He felt like he was being punked in love. We saw on a tray, there was the number 12 in a circle. And then on the jackpot machine, we saw 10 gold bars. And then he said he hit the jackpot and met someone whom he became the ultimate power couple with. She was my rock, and I was her apprentice, is what he said. And then we saw 4 aces at the end there. And then the song he did, Jump for My Love by the Pointer Sisters, of course, for me. I always think about Love Actually when I hear that song. So my initial thought was maybe none of the clues really matched up, but I thought, oh, wouldn't it be funny if this was Hugh Grant and he's dancing to Jump for My Love? But no, I don't think that's true. So the word he picked was accomplished. So this is somebody who, you know, is an accomplished, feels accomplished, or, you know, whatever. I don't know. That word could mean anything. I didn't recognize the voice. So let's go to the clues. So Ryan Reynolds was talked about, obviously. Again, I think these are people that are too big. Although Ryan Reynolds did do the Masked Singer in, I think, Australia to promote the first Deadpool movie, or maybe the second one. But and he likes to just do kind of silly things and different things. So maybe, but I don't think the clues match up at all. Although he is part of a power couple, I guess, with Blake Lively. Jim Carrey was bandied about by, believe it or not, I think, Brian Austin Green, but then he was like, or it could be my old 90210 buddy Ian Ziering. Okay, so that makes sense. And then I thought Ashley Tisdale had a good one too with the power couple idea, Ashton Kutcher. Makes sense, obviously Mila Kunis, you know, Annie had a movie called What Happens in Vegas. However, I think Brian Austin Green is right on the money with this. I think the 90210 clue is actually right on the nose for once, and here's why. Ian Ziering, I don't know much about his romance, so I don't know who the power couple is, but he was on Celebrity Apprentice. So, you know, I was the apprentice. That clue matches up. And then the 10 gold bars, I believe when he was on Dancing with the Stars, he got 3 10s from the judges. So, to me, I'm fairly confident that this one, as much as I don't know anything about the tulip, I'm fairly confident that the cricket is indeed Ian Ziering. So let's go to the disco ball. And this was somebody who is older. He has a little bit of an older gait, older stance, as Paula pointed out, and a pretty deep voice too, according to the clue package. I mean, yeah, they're all modulated as as they do their clue packages, but you can kind of tell who's got a high voice, who's got this is a very bassy kind of voice. So the clue package, he said he lost both his parents at a young age. There was a J that we saw on a bone that was supposed to represent a microphone, but it was like a dog bone kind of thing. We saw a shark in the water. They were pouring an iced tea. And then he said, as he was saying, I pour everything into my family. We saw a gavel. He said he's not expendable just yet, and that he is going to go all night long. He danced to Uptown Funk. I think I may have said sang in some of these. Oh, she sang Fergalicious. Obviously, I'm still on Masked Singer time. So, no, this is all dancing, of course. So the song he danced to was Uptown Funk, and his word was Grammy. So, some of the guesses, MC Hammer, I forget who guessed that. Brian Austin Green was thinking it's an old school rapper. He thought maybe Reverend Run, but he settled on LL Cool J because obviously he has hosted the Grammys a bunch of times, but he also, has won some Grammys. And then the J on the bone microphone, LL Cool J. All right. So this is the person that got voted off. So I am not going to give a guess for them. But I guess since we're going through the run of the show, we'll just do Disco Ball now. Or no, you know what? Actually, we won't. We'll come back to him. All right, so the exotic bird is last. And this is a female. She said her natural habitat is a racetrack. We saw number 17 around her on the two other competitors. We saw the word bang that came out with a bunch of glitter from a gun. And it was like one of those Looney Tunes kind of guns where it's like the sign actually came out and said the word bang on it. She said, if you can't tell, I'm competitive. Started out as a teen and won things quickly. There was a perfume bottle there. She said she was attacked a lot for losing and her relationships. We saw the eggs with Best by '07 on them, like for the expiration date. And then we see her cooking at the end as well. The song she danced to was Con Calma by Daddy Yankee and Katy Perry. And then her word was scored. That's the word she gave us. So the panel was sort of between either an athlete or a singer here. So we saw guesses of Hope Solo or Marion Jones. I think that might have been from Ashley. We had Fergie as a possibility, Jennifer Hudson as a possibility. I don't think those are bad. And then Ken said Venus Williams, which I don't know too much about Venus Williams. I know who she is, obviously, but I don't follow tennis. I know she's won a lot of championships. One thing that I thought was interesting that I didn't mention, but at the end of the clue package, she does like a basketball sort of stance, like you're jumping and shooting the basketball. So I don't know. I don't think this is a basketball player, but maybe she is married to one or dated a basketball player. Venus Williams, I feel like maybe is the best guess we have, but the clue about the racetrack and number 17, I don't know. I didn't really look anything up about that. One thing I thought, though, from the clues before the panel got on it was Jordan Sparks, because she did compete in American Idol in 2007, so that could be that clue. And in terms of the racetrack, I don't know. She could have won. She could have done track in high school for all I know. But the whole competitive thing, American Idol is a contest. I don't know. I think I'm probably out of my depth here, and it's probably not Jordan Sparks. So, believe it or not, I think I'm going to go with Ken again, because he said a couple of things that made sense for Venus Williams. He mentioned something that she did in 2007 specifically. So for now, I guess I'm going to say Venus Williams for the bird. I don't know. I'm more confident on that than I am the TikToker at the Tulip, but I don't really know. For now, I'm going to say Venus. All right, so back to the disco ball. So apparently now, because this is the masked dancer, not the masked singer, and we don't actually hear their voice, they are allowing the panel to ask one yes or no question each that the person will answer before they make their final guess. So, Paula said, "Have I seen you on both the big and the small screen?" He said, "Yes." Ken said, "Have I heard you on the radio?" He said, "Possibly." And Brian asked, "Have you won an award other than a Grammy?" He said, "Yes." And Ashley said, were you famous in the 90s?" And he said, "Yes." That's a useless question because I think most people that are still kicking today would be famous probably in the 90s that are this older. Even if they were also famous in the 70s and 80s, they would have still been famous in the 90s. So that's kind of a throwaway question. But Brian gave his guess of LL Cool J. He stuck with that from the J-Bone and the Grammy hosting. Ken thought it was Smokey Robinson. There was a clue somewhere in the clue package where he said the word miracles, which I didn't write down. It didn't seem important, I guess, to me. But Ken picked up on it. And of course, he used to do Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, so that kind of makes sense. Ashley thought it was Lionel Richie because he said he was going to go all night long. And I guess he mentioned at some point Can't Slow Down as well, which is another album title. And then Paula said Ving Rhames because he played a character called J-Bone in some movie that she mentioned. I think it was called Back in the Day. I never even heard of. But because of that, I didn't think of this person until Paula said it. But I was thinking, when he said, "I'm not expendable just yet," I was thinking it's somebody from the Expendables. And when she said Ving Rhames, I wasn't sure, but I was like, is he in the Expendables movies? Couldn't quite connect it, but I was like, you know what? I don't have a better clue. I don't think it's LL Cool J. Because I think LL Cool J can probably move more slickly than that. I thought the Smokey Robinson clue actually wasn't that bad either, because obviously he is a bit older and probably can't move that well anymore, and would have still been famous in the 90s, technically. Although, have we seen him on the big and small screen? Maybe not. So that's why I went with Ving Rhames, but that was incorrect. If you saw it, you already know that. It was indeed iced tea. They literally poured an iced tea. So I think some of these clues are more on the nose, which is why I'm confident about my Ian Ziering 90210. Like, in The Masked Singer, if they said 90210, that would just be a clue that this person shopped in Beverly Hills one time, But I think these clues are a little more on the nose. The J-Bone, by the way, apparently he played a character named J-Bone in Johnny Mnemonic, which I didn't know. The gavel was, of course, from Law and Order. What else? But lost both parents at a young age. I didn't know that about him. But it's Shark in the Water. I think he was in one of those shark movies, Deep Blue Sea, or maybe he was in Sharknado or something. And then, of course, he's won some Grammys. And, his answer to Ken's question, "Have I heard you on the radio?" I think the answer possibly really was smart, because is Ken listening to gangster rap records in the 90s on the radio? I don't know. I haven't heard Ice-T on the radio very much. I mean, New Jack Hustler a little bit when that movie came out in the 90s. But, he's much more known, I think, these days for his acting than for his rap career. And he didn't have a lot of radio hits because a lot of his, songs were curse-laden and all that stuff. So saying possibly to Ken's question actually was very smart as well. Didn't get this one at all. It was Ice-T. So, look, I'm invested now, so I must see this through. So, yes, I will be here with you every week doing the Masked Dancer wrap-ups, just like we did for the Masked Singer. Please comment below. The interaction I get with you guys is very important for me trying to figure this out, because I had no clue on Ice-T. And, look, like I said, everybody that was eliminated first week on The Masked Singer this last season, I was like, oh yeah, I knew who that was, da-da-da-da-da. But there's no way to, know that that's true. But look, I'm telling you right now, I had no idea this was Ice-T. No clue. Didn't even pop up on my radar. So, so there you go. I'm being honest with you on the Masked Singer videos too, if I don't know a person. But anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe below, comment, and like this video. And there's, I think, another new episode of Masked Dancer on Wednesday. I know we're going to meet Group B the following Wednesday on the 6th, but I think there might be, unless it's a repeat of this episode, I think there might be a new episode on Wednesday. We'll have to see. But either way, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.